Jess, thank you so much for your time. What I really want to start off with asking is, have you thought what you're going to feel like when you're getting ready to represent Wales at the Euros? Have you thought about that moment of quiet?
I think it's something that you're naturally kind of going to navigate towards is really trying to imagine the feelings. One, because you need to kind of harness them, you know, because you're about to go and play in a huge game. And the balance of kind of keeping your emotions in check is really important in such a big occasion. But equally, you want to be able to feel it, because that is important as well. Of course, you try and think about what that might feel like, so you can try and get a handle on it before. But I don't think you're ever really going to know what it feels like until you get there, right? And so I'm just gonna let it happen, I think.
I think before you even uttered a word to answer that question, I don't know, you just went into a big grin. It probably says it, doesn't it?
Exactly.
For you, what does it mean? You have achieved so much. Why keep playing?
For this, ultimately, you know, I think for the last couple of years specifically, there is obviously the enjoyment and the love for the game, which, you know, nothing quite gives me that feeling like it does being out on the football field. But I never wanted to really walk away without achieving this with my country. And it has really been kind of the motivation for the last few years, for sure. And so being able to kind of still be around for it, I think, is truly the biggest gift I think I could ever have had.
What was one of your initial emotions then when you qualified in Dublin? Was it relief?
The feeling that I expected myself to have and the feeling that I had were very different. You know, I expected to just have this immense joy and pride, but it was initially relief of just finally, you know, after all this time, after all the setbacks and failures really that we've had in the past, the relief of being able to do what I have always wanted to do with my country, and still being here and being able to, you know, hopefully participate was just the overriding feeling. And once I kind of felt that, then I could go into, you know, joy and celebration, because I've really wanted to get to a major tournament with Wales for such a long time. And I don't have much longer. And so this was kind of, you know, the last hooray maybe. And so I just couldn't believe that, you know, the timing of it was poetic, some might say.
Everyone who I've talked to say you're the most dedicated in terms of recovery and managing load. If a medical staff say you've got to have 6-week rest, you do it in 2 or 3. You've got a magic potion there, which things so elite level, managing your body when you do get older is tough.
Yeah.
So how have you done it? What's the
That's the secret. Secret sauce.
Yeah.
A pint of lager. No.
Apart from exhaustion, have you done it?
I think honestly, over the last few years, it has really been about dialing in to another level. The truth is, I'm very fortunate and blessed that my mother and father have given me great genes, athletically, should you say. And one of the most important things for me was, you know, I have to keep that. Just because of the way that I would like to play myself and the way that my mind wants me to play. And over the years, I've just known that if my body can't do what my mind wants to do, then, you know, it's just time. I'm certainly not going to be someone that kind of tries to continue when I can't do what I want to do on the field, you know. And so I would say the last, you know, 3-4 years, I've really taken time to understand more about rest, recovery, load, what my body needs to be prepared.
No lager.
No lager. What my body needs to be fresh, as opposed to perhaps an overload of training. I think when you get older, you really have to get that balance right. And I've put in a lot of effort to get that balance right. And so, you know, I'm very kind of proud of that, I think. And even now, you know, I just did some base testing for my rehab, and, you know, I've hit my highest markers ever, you know. And so that is just kind of reiterates really that, you know, if you get the balance right, your body will be able to follow your mind.
You need to market this elixir that you're coming up with here, Jess. That badge, easy for me to understand. We're Welsh, but what does it mean for you? Jess Fishlock, MBE, won everything you could possibly win.
I think our nation is just different. We are so small, and I think a lot of people view that as a negative, whereas I view it as, you know, such a positive. When you're from a small nation, you have to care differently. Your passion is, I don't think you can explain Welsh passion to anybody. It's in our blood, you know, it's in our DNA. When you grow up and you are around all the castles, or you're down Barry Beach, or, you know, you're around everyone. And growing up, you know, you'd go to all, I can remember going to Ninian Park, I can remember going to the rugby, and our nation is so passionate and supportive of any Welsh kind of success, you know? And I think that really does kind of set us apart from other nations. You know, I miss Wales all the time, you know. There's no describing of what I miss when I'm in America, you know. It is, even, you know, my wife is, I always say to my wife, I miss home, I need to get home for like a couple of days. Like, I just need to feel it, right? There's nothing like Wales, and I truly, truly, truly believe that. We're just different people, we really are.
Are you calling it a day after the Euros? Or is that elixir going to keep you going? Wales are clearly on the up. Mm-hmm. You, legendary status at Seattle, settled in with a life in the US. You're going to call it a day after the Euros, or can you conceive that you can keep going for longer?
Yeah, I really don't know. I haven't really made any decision, because I just want to enjoy what I'm doing right now. I love playing for the Rain. I love playing for Wales. And I don't want to distract any of that by forward thinking too much. You know, I'm not worried about my body, as I've stated. It is still doing its thing. And so, you know, as of right now, I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just doing what I possibly can to help this team in any way that I can. Hopefully we'll be able to go and enjoy the Euros and compete and you know, work really hard to get out of that group. And then we'll see, right? Ultimately, you know, what's difficult is the game is just unforgiving. You know, playing club and country is very hard. I think you can see so many people these days retire really early from international because it is just so exhausting. And I'm just going to have to wait and see what my body is telling me and what my mind is telling me after the summer. But I'm not focused on kind of forcing that right now.
Influences for you, major influences for you. Two parts: off the pitch, on the pitch.
Off the pitch, my family, like without any doubt. My mum and my dad are just the best people. You know, they really support me. My brothers and sisters too. You know, without any of them, I do not do what I do. It's too difficult. You know, they are always there for me. They keep me humble, let me tell you. They never make me feel bad for always missing things. You know, they sacrifice themselves to make sure that I'm okay and we spend time together. You know, it's always around my schedule. Family is a big part of my life, and they are instrumental in my career, without a shadow of a doubt. When I was a kid, I loved Eric Cantona, you know, and, you know, grew up watching Scalzi and Mark Hughes. You know, I just loved it. But I think growing up and going in my career and, you know, people that have shaped kind of who I am on the field would be Kim Little, Megan Rapinoe, Lauren Barnes, and Laura Harvey, for sure.
What's the most important or rewarding thing that you've been able to do as a footballer?
I think, honestly, being bringing visibility to the LGBTQ community for me is been a huge one. You know, I came out publicly when I was very young. When, you know, in Wales, I think it just wasn't heard of, but I made a point of doing it on a BBC article because it was important to me that views changed, and obviously throughout since then I've been a big advocate of that. And I think also being a part of a group that has changed the view of what football is and who football is for in Wales specifically, but globally as well. You know, really kind of changing the language and the messaging around women's football and creating that kind of legacy in Wales where mindsets, investment has changed. I mean, there's for me, there's nothing bigger than that. You know, I mean, we can go to Euro, we can go to a World Cup, I can play football, but none of that really, really matters if there's no fundamental structural change on the view that football is for everybody. And we have been able to change that, I believe, in Wales specifically. And I mean, nothing that I do on the field will ever matter, really, if none of that changed.